Jesse Martinez pressed the gas pedal, feeling the car surge forward along the dusty Texas road. The sun hung low in the sky, casting long shadows across the pavement, but there was little warmth for him in its glow. After yet another disappointing gig, disappointment pooled in his chest like an anchor, dragging him deeper into despair. He had thought tonight might be different. He had hoped for applause, for enthusiasm from the crowd. Instead, he was met with indifference, his music dismissed as background noise. As the tires crunched on the gravel, he couldn't shake the stifling self-doubt that engulfed him. Where had his dream gone? Chasing after stardom had turned into an endless road of loneliness. The faces of his family, supportive yet worried, flashed through his mind. They had always urged him to find a real job, to stop chasing a mirage. For every moment spent alone on stage, a part of him felt lost, adrift in a sea of regret. Then, just as he contemplated how he might find solid ground again, a voice sliced through the silence of the evening. "She's got a baby, Daddy!" The urgency of the shout jolted him, demanding his attention. Confused, Jesse momentarily thought he might have imagined it, but as the words echoed in his mind, a chill ran down his spine. He felt his heart race. Who was calling out, and what could it mean? Suddenly, it was as if every regret and every painful choice he'd ever made coalesced into that single moment. Clenching the steering wheel, Jesse swerved the car to the side of the road, kicking up a cloud of dust. He peered out of the window towards a rundown trailer a few yards away. A disheveled young woman waved desperately, her face awash in desperation. Questions surged through his head. Was this really happening? Why would she say something like that? Swallowing hard, he realized he needed to turn around. Instinct was pushing him back, drawing him to the unknown. There was an urgency in the moment, tinged with an unsettling mix of fear and curiosity. What if he did have a child? What if he had another life he knew nothing about? The unsettling thought gripped his heart tightly. The childhood memories of Clara Ruiz flooded back. They had shared everything, dreams of the future dancing like fireflies in their eyes. But he had let those dreams slip away as he chased fame and fortune, leaving her behind. Clara's laughter, once a sweet melody, now felt like a haunting refrain, reminding him of what he had forfeited. Their last conversation, filled with unspoken words, echoed in his mind as he thought of what could have been. Stepping out of the car, Jesse's heart thudded like the beat of a restless drum. The air held scents of earth and smoke, aromas that felt familiar, as if they whispered of home. Each step towards the trailer felt heavy with uncertainty. He hesitated, swallowed hard, and took a deep breath. With the sun beginning to dip beneath the horizon, painting the sky with vibrant hues, Jesse felt caught at a crossroads. The weight of his decisions pressed down on him like the Texas heat, suffocating yet undeniable. Could he face whatever waited inside? This moment could redefine everything, an opportunity for redemption or a plunge deeper into regret. Jesse knocked on the door, his heart racing. As the sound echoed back, he wondered if the echoes of his forgotten melody would finally lead him home. The door creaked open, and Jesse was met with a pair of anxious eyes that mirrored his own confusion. The young woman standing in the doorway, her hair pulled back in a messy bun, looked familiar, like a photograph pulled from the depths of his memory. "Jesse?" she asked, her voice trembling slightly, tracing the contours of disbelief and hope. The world around him faded into a blur as he struggled to find his voice, words catching in his throat. "Clara?" he finally breathed, disbelief coloring his expression. She nodded, and for a fleeting moment, time suspended itself between them. The years melted away, revealing the laughter and dreams they once shared. Memories of lazy afternoons spent strumming guitars and singing to the stars flooded back, each note wrapped in nostalgia. He could almost hear her laughter, bright and unrestrained, floating through the air as they painted their futures on the canvas of youth. But those dreams had shattered, fractured by the distance he had created when he chose the bright lights of the stage over the warmth of home. His heart ached as he took in the sight of her. This was not the spirited girl he had known. The lines of struggle etched on her face told a story of resilience and survival, a narrative filled with hardship he had chosen to ignore. "Why didn't you come back?" Clara asked softly, her eyes searching his for answers. The weight of her question hung heavily between them, challenging him to respond with honesty. I thought I was doing what I had to do. I wanted to make something of myself," Jesse replied, his voice low, filled with an uncharacteristic vulnerability. But I never meant to leave you behind. I thought— Thought what? Clara interrupted, emotion rising in her voice. That you could just walk away from everything we built? We had dreams, Jesse. We were supposed to be a team. He hung his head, shame flooding through him. I know. I thought I could come back once I made it, once I had enough to offer you something better. But the reality is I lost myself along the way. A silence settled between them, filled with the ghosts of their past. She stepped aside, a gentle invitation to enter, and he took a tentative step into the small trailer. Inside, the living room was cluttered but cozy. A worn couch nestled against a wall adorned with framed photos. A guitar rested in the corner, strings gathering dust, an unsettling reflection of Jesse's own forgotten dreams. Is the baby? Is it mine? Jesse whispered, dread pooling in his stomach. Clara hesitated, her gaze falling to the floor. Yes, she uttered, her voice barely above a whisper. His name is Matteo. The name struck Jesse like a chord plucked in the dark, reverberating through the depths of his heart. You never told me, he said, each word feeling heavier than the last. I didn't mean to keep it from you. Clara's voice trembled as she shifted uneasily. When I realized I was pregnant, I thought you'd be gone forever, chasing your dream. I wanted to protect him from the reality of a father who wouldn't be there. I was scared, and here I am, Jesse murmured, guilt heavy in his chest. Scared too. I don't even know how to be a father. I hadn't planned for it either, Clara replied, tears gleaming in her eyes. I thought I was doing it all alone. Every day is a test, a battle to help him have a better life without you, and it's exhausting. Jesse's heart twisted at the thought of Clara carrying that weight alone. He remembered their conversations, filled with laughter and music, dreams fluttering around them like delicate petals in the wind. They had painted futures together, carefree and bright. Now reality marred those dreams, leaving scars that felt insurmountable. I can help you, Clara, he said, resolve building within him. If you'll let me. I want to be part of Matteo's life. I want to be part of yours again. I have spent so long chasing after this idea of success, while I was losing everything that truly mattered. Clara's gaze shifted, skepticism evident in her expression. You think it's that easy? You think you can just walk back in and take all that pain away? I don't know if I can take it all away, Jesse replied earnestly, but I want to try. I want to write our story again, to find our way back. I've let so many chances slip through my fingers. I won't let this one go. The air buzzed with the unspoken possibilities of the moment. His heart felt like a fragile ember, igniting after years in the cold. Clara's expression softened, her walls slowly breaking down as her vulnerability spilled into the space between them. Do you even have music left in you? She asked, a gentle challenge edging her voice. At that moment, the trailer seemed to swallow Jesse in memories of melodies long forgotten. He thought of the guitar, of songs whispering in the corners. I think I might, he replied, his voice steadier now. But I need your help. Can we find those rhythms again together? She studied him for a long moment, her eyes darting between hope and skepticism, until she finally nodded. We'll see where this goes, Jesse, for Matteo's sake. Relief washed over him. In that mix of tension and hope, a bridge began to form, one fragile but strong. Perhaps the echoes of their past could guide them toward a partnership, one filled with possibilities, struggles, and ultimately, healing. Jesse stepped closer, feeling the distance between them begin to fade. Let's write a new song, Clara, one that brings us back home. As daylight began to wane, Jesse could feel the warmth of life returning, an ember of belief reigniting within him, as the weight of his past decisions began to shake loose like autumn leaves falling from a tree. Perhaps there was still time to reclaim their haunting melodies and compose a new future. As days rolled into weeks, Jesse immersed himself in the rhythm of life with Clara and Matteo. Their small trailer was filled with laughter, the soft coos of a growing baby, and the gentle strumming of a guitar. Yet beneath this surface of happiness, Jesse wrestled with an unsettling sense of fear. What if he wasn't enough for them? What if ultimately he failed again? Most mornings began before dawn. Jesse would pour coffee, scrolling through old photographs, images of Clara, Matteo, joyful moments that felt like grasping smoke. Each smile reminded him of his past, of dreams he almost lost entirely while chasing fame. One hazy afternoon, the sun filtering through the windows, Jesse sat alone on the couch with the guitar resting heavily on his knee. He tested the strings with a few faltering chords, but the music felt stuck, a prisoner in his mind. The notes hung in the air like unexpressed thoughts, frustratingly close yet out of reach. "What are you working on?" Clara asked, her voice cutting through the stillness as she entered the room, holding Matteo in her arms. "Just trying to find my way back," Jesse replied. "It feels like I've lost the ability to write. Remember that song we created about chasing the stars? We could recreate that magic," she suggested, a spark of hope lighting her features. He nodded, recalling their late-night jam sessions. The laughter, the dreams shared in that dim light. They felt invincible then, believing they had all the time in the world. But doubt quickly returned. "What if I can't do it again?" he said, frustration creeping into his voice. "What if I'm too broken?" Clara shifted closer, her hand resting gently on his. "You're not broken, Jesse. You're healing. You have to trust yourself," she urged, her gaze steady. "Trust." He frowned, his throat tightening. "How can I trust the man who walked away from everyone he loved?" "You're here now," she asserted, her voice unwavering. "You've already shown you're willing to fight for us. That counts for something. Change takes time." As Matteo began to whimper, Clara's expression softened. "We have a little one counting on us now, Jesse. That's worth every struggle." Jesse felt a flicker of hope at her words, burrowing deeper into his heart. "All right," he said finally, determination edging his tone. "Let's write a new song, an anthem for our family." Clara smiled, an encouraging light dawning in her eyes. "Yes, let's do it together." With each strum, an unspoken connection flowed between them. The guitar started to hum with familiar warmth, each note reigniting memories of happier times and whispering of healing. As they worked on the melody, however, Jesse couldn't shake a lingering sense of loneliness. Despite Clara's support, he felt shadows of his past creeping in, threatening to pull him back into despair. Yet as the days passed, he poured himself into creating music. Each note began to rise like a phoenix, bringing life and peace within. One evening, after a long writing session, he lay awake in bed, Clara's soft breathing beside him, and guilt washed over him anew. Was he still worthy of their love? What if he lost them both again? Pushing those fears away, he inhaled deeply, recalling Clara's words. He had to believe he could change, that he could forge a meaningful life for himself and his family once again. On a more promising morning, after another restless night, Jesse took the guitar in hand and began to play. The lyrics poured out of him, expressions of regret and resilience, mingled with hopes for the future. Each line unfolded the struggles they faced, but highlighted the love that tethered them together. Clara stepped into the room, witnessing the catharsis unfolding. "What's that?" she asked, intrigued. "Just something I'm working on," Jesse replied, pride swelling within him. "It's for us, our story." As he sang, Clara's voice joined his, weaving together harmonies that filled the air with warmth and belonging. In that moment, Jesse could feel the music breaking through his heart, chipping away at the weight of loneliness that had clung to him for so long. Even with uncertainty still lurking, he began to embrace the light surrounding their family. They were on a journey together, and perhaps this new song would resonate with the struggles they had faced, becoming a beacon of hope for the future. Jesse looked at Clara as the final notes faded, a blend of anxiety and excitement in his chest. "Can we make this our story again?" Her smile radiated warmth and belief. "Yes, let's chase those stars together." In that shared moment, he realized they had the chance to rewrite their future. And as the shadows of his past began to fade, a new light emerged, one filled with melodies, hope, and love guiding them toward tomorrow. As the golden light of dawn broke through the curtains, casting a warm glow across the trailer, Jesse felt a renewed sense of purpose bubbling within him. It had been weeks since he had started writing again, and Clara, ever supportive, had encouraged him to share his work. Together, they had transformed the air in the trailer, turning it into a sanctuary filled with melodies and dreams. One morning, with the sun pouring in, Jesse picked up his guitar. Strumming lightly, he began to weave together the verses from the piece he had crafted. Each note resonated with vulnerability, reflecting the heart of their journey, the struggle between love and fear, pain and hope. "Are you ready to share?" Clara asked from the kitchen, her hands busy with breakfast, but her attention fixed on him. "Yeah, I think so," Jesse replied, feeling his heart race. "It's about us, our story, the ups and downs." "Let's hear it, Jesse," Clara encouraged, stepping into the living room, her eyes filled with warmth and anticipation. He inhaled deeply, channeling both the anxiety and excitement he felt as he began to sing the lyrics. "This road's been hard, but we're not alone. Together, we'll find our way back home." As his voice filled the room, Clara's gaze never left him, absorbing the emotion woven through each note. When he finished, silence enveloped them, the weight of the moment lingering. "I love it, Jesse," Clara said, her voice thick with emotion. "It's raw and honest. You've captured what we've been through." Jesse felt a wave of relief wash over him. "I didn't know how else to express it. This is us." Over the following days, they honed the song together, blending their voices and harmonies. As they rehearsed, it felt as if the lyrics were stitching together their past, present, and future, a tapestry of love woven through struggle. The more they sang, the closer they grew, like veins of a tree gaining strength from a shared foundation. But just as Jesse felt the joy of creation, unfamiliar shadows began to materialize once more. Old insecurities resurfaced. What if this new beginning wasn't enough? Doubt began to claw at him, gnawing at the edges of his heart. That night, as Clara drifted off to sleep, Jesse found himself staring at the ceiling, heart heavy with apprehension. He quietly slipped from the bed, finding his way to the porch. The cool air filled his lungs as he took deep breaths, the rhythm of the night calming his chaotic thoughts. As he looked out into the dark expanse of the Texas sky, glittered with stars, he thought of the song they were creating. It was meant to be their anthem, capturing not just their highs but their lows as well. Could he truly embrace all facets of his journey? Was it possible to forgive himself for past mistakes and open his heart to love again? Suddenly, Clara appeared behind him, her silhouette framed by the porch light. "Hey," she said softly, breaking the silence. "Couldn't sleep," Jesse admitted, turning to her, the weight of the world still heavy on his shoulders. "Mind if I join?" she asked, stepping beside him and leaning against the railing. "Not at all," he replied, grateful for her presence. As the stars twinkled above them, Jesse hesitated but eventually opened up. "What if I can't live up to this dream we're creating? Sometimes I feel like I'm standing on a tightrope, teetering over the past." Clara turned to him, her expression earnest. "It's okay to be scared, Jesse. But you're not that person anymore. You're here trying. And that's what matters. Everyone struggles. We're on this road together." Her words wrapped around him like a warm blanket. "I don't want to fail you or Mateo again." "You won't," she reassured him. "We can't control everything that happens, but we can face it together. We need to embrace the messy parts of life because they make the beautiful moments worthwhile." As her words settled into his heart, Jesse felt the heavy burden begin to lift. "I just want to make you proud," he murmured. "You already do," Clara replied softly, resting her head against his shoulder. "We're in this for each other, through the good and the bad. We're a team." Feeling her warmth, Jesse found solace, breathing easier. He remembered why he started this journey, to create not just music, but a life filled with love and connection. The following week, Clara suggested a local open mic at a cafe not far from their home. "It'll be a place to share our song," she said, her eyes sparkling with excitement. "We should do it together." The thought filled him with anxiety, but Clara's enthusiasm was contagious. "What if nobody likes it? What if I forget the words?" "Then we'll laugh about it and try again, just like every rehearsal," she said, confidence radiating from her. With a deep breath, Jesse agreed. "Okay, let's do it." As the night of the open mic arrived, nervousness bubbled within him while Clara encouraged him through the door of the packed cafe. The energy was electric, filled with the sounds of laughter, conversations, and clinking glasses. Spotlights illuminated the small stage, casting an inviting glow that felt both intimidating and warm. When their names were called, Jesse felt the weight of every question, every doubt building as they took their places on the stage. He glanced at Clara and saw determination reflected in her eyes. Suddenly, the instruments felt reliable. They were extensions of their voices, their stories ready to shine. As they began to play their song, the nervousness in Jesse's heart faded. Together, their melodies soared, strings intertwining seamlessly. Clara's voice blended perfectly with his, the harmonies washing over the audience like a soft breeze. And as they sang the final notes, the room erupted into applause, a feeling of acceptance and belonging coursing through him. In that moment, all the fears, the doubt, the loneliness fell away. They shared something deeper than mere music. It was a profound connection, a rebirth of their love and hope. As they stepped off the stage, Jesse felt renewed, a sense of purpose kindling within him. The shadows that had once haunted him began to retreat, replaced by the warmth of their shared experience. Clara's hand found his, and together they stepped into a future filled with possibility. "We did it," he said, awestruck by the moment. "Together," Clara replied, a radiant smile lighting her face. "And this is only the beginning." As they walked out into the starlit night, Jesse realized that life was not about perfection, but about exploration, forging connections and sharing the journey with those you love. More than a chance to reclaim lost moments, they had found a path that could guide them toward a lifetime of shared dreams. In that rebirth, their story became more than just a song. It transformed into a powerful anthem of resilience, unity, and the endless possibilities life had to offer. The days that followed the open mic night shimmered with a newfound energy. Jesse and Clara embraced their creative spark, collaborating on music that echoed both their past struggles and current triumphs. Their trailer, once filled with uncertainty, now buzzed with inspiration, the walls pulsing with the rhythms of their transformed life. Yet, the anxiety that had lingered within Jesse had not entirely vanished. It whispered at the edges of his thoughts, a reminder of his past mistakes. He noticed fleeting moments where his confidence would waver, but with Clara by his side, he felt grounded, surrounded by love. One Saturday morning, as they prepared for the next writing session, Jesse woke to a surprising quietness. Clara was unusually absent from the kitchen. The usual aroma of breakfast was replaced with a stark emptiness. He felt the weight of the world upon his shoulders as he called out, "Clara, you okay?" "Yeah," she replied from the bathroom, her voice muffled. "Just a minute." As Jesse moved through the house, he couldn't shake the sense of unease that clung to him. He poured himself a cup of coffee and waited, his mind swirling with possibilities. What if they were becoming too ambitious? Was Clara happy with their progress, or was he pushing too hard in his efforts to make amends? Just then, she emerged, a shadow of herself, her eyes rimmed with exhaustion. "Are you all right?" he asked, concern threading his voice as he approached her. "Just a bit tired," she replied, forcing a smile that didn't quite meet her eyes. "You've been working a lot lately. Maybe we should take a break," Jesse suggested, trying to gauge her mood. "Maybe," Clara replied, walking to the table, her movements lacking their usual vigor. She started flipping through pages of their lyrics, her brows furrowing as if searching for focus. Jesse sensed a distance beginning to form, an invisible wall rising between them, but he couldn't quite grasp why. "Hey, how about we go for a walk? The weather's nice." "I need to finish these lyrics," she said. Her tone clipped, concentration shifting to the paper before her. A flicker of disappointment shot through him. "Clara, you can only push so hard. I don't want you to burn out." "I know what I'm doing, Jesse," she replied, her voice sharp, startling him. "We're trying to make something great here. I can handle it." His heart sank as he watched her focus on her work, the warmth melting into tension. The vibrant energy they'd cultivated seemed to simmer down into hesitance, creating a rift that neither of them had anticipated. Days turned into weeks, but that tension did not fade. It persisted like a storm cloud, hovering over them and eventually erupting into the inevitable confrontation. One evening after a particularly exhausting dinner, the air felt heavy with unspoken words. Jesse finally broke the silence. "Clara, we need to talk. This isn't working." She sighed, the weight of her fatigue evident in her posture. "What are you talking about?" It feels like something's off. We're creating music, but it feels forced, and I'm worried about you," Jesse said, his voice filled with concern. "You're pushing yourself too hard. I'm doing this for us, Jesse. Can't you see that?" Clara shot back, frustration bubbling over. "We have a chance to build something, and I don't want to waste it." "I understand, but at what cost? I see how tired you are." Jesse's voice trailed off, unsure whether he was treading on fragile ground. "That's not fair. You have no idea what it's been like for me. I'm trying to keep everything together." Her voice cracked, and in the intensity of her emotions she stifled a sob. They stood in silence, all his worries and fears intertwining with her turmoil, and though he longed to comfort her, the distance felt insurmountable. "Why don't we take things slowly?" he offered cautiously. "Let's enjoy the process. We can still create without the pressure." "You don't get it," Clara exclaimed, tears brimming in her eyes. I'm terrified of losing this again, losing you. I need to prove to myself that I can do this, be a good partner, a good mother. If we fail, what then? Her fears echoed within him, resonating with his own. I don't want to lose you either, Clara, but this isn't working. You're becoming distant, and I can't watch you struggle alone. As his words sank into the air, silence cloaked the space between them. The love they had fought so hard for felt suffocated by the weight of their unexpressed fears. I don't want this to turn into another mistake, Clara said softly, her voice trembling. I want to believe in us again, but I fear it's slipping away. Then let's tackle this together, Jessie pleaded. We can face the fear, face the music together, with all its messiness. Clara studied him, the tension etched on her brow beginning to soften. Maybe I've been rushing, she admitted hesitantly. But every night, I wonder if I'm enough to make it work. You are enough, you always have been, he said, stepping closer, his heart aching with her honesty. Let's support each other and take the time we need. A tear slipped down her cheek, and Jessie reached out, gently brushing it away with his thumb. You don't have to push yourself like this. We can work at a pace that allows us to breathe. Clara took a deep breath, her expression filled with uncertainty, but the vulnerability that had once seemed lost glimmered back into view. You're right. I'm sorry for shutting you out. No apologies, Jessie replied, the warmth of understanding radiating between them. Just a fresh start and a promise to lean on one another. They stood together in the dim light of their home, hearts slowly reconnecting amid the wreckage. Jessie took Clara's hand, pulling her closer. Let's write a song without any expectations, just for us. As they sank into that shared promise, the fear and tension faded, becoming the soil in which new growth could flourish. They began to weave their notes together once more, not just melodies and phrases, but the fabric of their lives, stitched with honesty, love, and vulnerability. That night, they wrote until the stars gleamed brightly outside their window, pouring their hearts into the music that would turn their struggles into healing, transforming fear into a melodic celebration of resilience. In the end, the crisis became the crucible in which their love transformed, affirming their willingness to embrace life's imperfections together and using music as both their guide and sanctuary. As the dawn crept through the curtains, Jessie and Clara awoke to a familiar warmth enveloping their small trailer. The night had transformed something fragile into a resilient bond of love, and the air was thick with newfound hope. They had spent hours writing, the sounds of their laughter intermingled with the strumming of the guitar, finally managing to capture the joy of their journey together. Last night felt different, Clara said softly as she stretched out, still nestled in their shared bed. It's like we finally let go of something heavy. Yeah, Jessie replied, smiling as he replayed their laughter in his mind. We did, didn't we? It felt like all those insecurities melted away. If only for a moment. Clara raised an eyebrow playfully. Maybe we need to write more songs with all those insecurities in them, huh? That might actually make for some pretty compelling music, he chuckled, relieved to see the glimmer in her eyes. They gathered around the kitchen table, their writing space, and spread out the lyrics they had created, each scribble telling a chapter of their shared journey through pain and healing. They filled the room with melody. A lightness danced in the air as each note flowed freely, embodying resilience too powerful to ignore. Let's do something different today, Jessie suggested, excitement bubbling in his voice. Why don't we find an open mic in a bigger venue? Something where we can gather more people and share our story. Clara looked at him with bright anticipation. You really think we're ready for that? Jessie nodded, embracing the twinkle of confidence sparking between them. Absolutely. If we've made it this far, let's take it to the next level. After everything we've been through, we deserve to share our music with the world. They spent the day rehearsing, practicing their song until it felt like an extension of their souls. Clara's fingers danced over the chords when she played, and Jessie's heart surged with pride watching her flourish. Each strum felt like breathing new life into old wounds, creating something greater than themselves. The venue they found was cozy and filled with unique charm. Framed photos of artists adorned the walls, while the gentle buzz of conversation swirled through the air. Potential echoed in every corner, and Clara joined Jessie on stage, a noticeable shiver of nerves rippling through her. Jessie intertwined his fingers with hers, grounding them both. Good evening, everyone, Jessie began, projecting warmth into the mic. We're Clara and Jessie, and we'd like to share our story with you tonight. It's about embracing the ups and downs of life and love. As they began to play, the atmosphere shifted. The energy in the room rippled around them, pulling in the audience. The lyrics poured forth from their hearts, a direct reflection of their struggle and newfound strength. Each chorus felt alive with the energy of their resolve, the music echoing the tapestry of their lives, an anthem of rebirth built on hope. Clara's voice soared above the strings, weaving through the enthralled silence, captivating everyone present. As they sang the last notes, a deafening applause erupted, a wave of overwhelming support crashing over them. Clara beamed with pride, her eyes sparkling with disbelief. "We did it!" Jessie held her arms, exhilarated. "Yes, we should do this again." It felt incredible, but as they stepped off the stage, Jessie caught sight of a familiar face in the crowd. It was Josh, an old acquaintance from Jessie's past life in the music industry. A part of him wanted to rush over and embrace that connection, but another more cautious side held him back. Josh smiled warmly and approached. "Jessie, Clara, I didn't know you were performing here," he said, extending a hand. "That was amazing. You two have something special." "Thanks, Josh," Jessie replied, tension coiling in his gut. "It's all new for us, but we're just enjoying ourselves." Josh chuckled, his expression gleaming with admiration. "You should really get it recorded. There's so much potential in your sound. You could go far." Jessie exchanged a glance with Clara, his heart aching with nostalgia and uncertainty. What path would they walk now? He felt the old pull of ambition pushing against the warm embrace of their newfound connection. "Maybe," he said cautiously, "we're just taking things one song at a time. Sometimes you need to seize your moment, Jessie. Fame isn't always the enemy," Josh continued, leaning closer. "I know a couple of producers who'd jump at the chance to work with you." Turning red, Jessie glanced at Clara. They had shared a dream of that kind of success. But would it combat the love they had found? Was it worth risking their sanctuary? Clara, sensing the unease, put a hand on Jessie's arm. "We appreciate the kind words, but right now, we're focused on being together and running this journey on our own terms." Josh raised an eyebrow, surprise shifting into respect. "Hey, I respect that. Just remember, sometimes it takes a leap of faith to make your dreams come true." With that, Josh exited into the crowd, leaving behind an echo of memories Jessie knew he couldn't entirely shake. "Are you okay?" Clara asked softly, her concern palpable. "You seemed a little off with Josh." "Yeah," Jessie sighed, rubbing the back of his neck as memories filled his thoughts. "I just don't want to lose what we have. We fought so hard for this." Clara stepped closer, capturing his gaze. "We don't have to choose between our love and our dreams. Let's figure it out together. We can navigate those murky waters. We don't have to let it pull us apart." Jessie nodded, releasing the tension he felt in his heart. "You're right. We'll find a way to balance it all. And whatever happens, we'll do it as partners." As they walked hand in hand toward the exit, the world outside had transformed under a sea of stars. Each step illuminated the path ahead, a tapestry of dreams sewn together with resilience, love, and connection. They may not have all the answers yet, but together they would brave the uncertainties of life, holding tight to the music that had brought them back to each other. It was a love story still unwritten, filled with melodies waiting to emerge, and they were ready to embrace whatever awaited them next. As autumn settled over Texas, Jessie and Clara's whirlwind of performances began to blossom into something beautiful. Their local gigs grew in number, each show bringing with it deeper connections. They played not just for the applause, but for a community that seemed to resonate with their journey of love and resilience. One evening, standing backstage at a vibrant venue, Jessie could feel the familiar flutter of nerves. Clara, beside him, squeezed his hand, grounding him. "Ready to share our story again?" she asked, her eagerness shining through her nervousness. "Always, especially with you," he replied, feeling the weight of their progress together. As they took the stage, Jessie felt an unusual sense of peace wash over him. With each strum of his guitar, he sensed the transformative power of their relationship, the fusion of their struggles manifesting in the music they shared. Clara's voice soared above him, captivating the audience with its sincerity and warmth. That night, for the first time, Jessie felt an overwhelming sense of belonging, not just to Clara, but to all those who listened. Their songs built bridges, connecting with an audience that had faced hardships of their own. When they finished, applause enveloped them like a warm embrace. For Jessie, it marked a realization that their music had begun to resonate beyond themselves. In the subsequent months, They continued to practice and perform, crafting heartfelt songs inspired by their experiences. One night after a show, they were approached by a local producer who saw potential in their sound. "You two have something special," he said, eyes bright with enthusiasm. "Let's work together to take this to the next level." Jesse glanced at Clara, a mixture of excitement and hesitation coursing through him. "We're really enjoying the journey," he replied cautiously. "We want to make sure we stay true to ourselves." "Of course," the producer nodded, nodding appreciatively. "Just remember, the right opportunity can propel you forward." Later, as they drove home, Jesse couldn't shake the mixture of exhilaration and doubt. "What if this opportunity is too good to pass up?" he pondered aloud. Clara turned, her expression firm yet gentle. "We're building this together. If it's meant to be, the right moment will wait for us." Her words grounded him. Their relationship had always thrived on open communication and patience. "You're absolutely right. We'll keep moving forward step by step." The weeks that followed were filled with music, laughter, and softer moments, stargazing, late-night jam sessions, and spontaneous adventures. Each interaction reinforced their connection, proving that amidst the whirlwind of excitement, they had not lost sight of each other. One night, curled up under a blanket on the porch, Jesse turned to Clara, his heart swelling with gratitude. "I think we're finally becoming the people we were meant to be." Clara nestled closer, her voice soft. "Together we can face anything, and we're learning that love is our greatest strength." As they sat surrounded by the sounds of the night, Jesse understood that redemption wasn't just overcoming their past. It was woven into the foundation of their music. Their story was still unfolding, a testament to their journey filled with resilience, love, and an unwavering commitment to embrace whatever life had in store. While they might not have all the answers, they remained steadfast in their pursuit of connection, through music, through love, and in facing the uncertainties of tomorrow. Their songs were not just melodies, they were the heartbeat of their shared experience, echoing their growth as individuals and as partners. As autumn leaves danced in the wind, Jesse and Clara stepped into their future hand in hand, ready to embrace the melodies yet to be sung, a journey marked by hope and the promise of love that could weather any storm.